We're talking Wonder Man, Marvel's newest TV show, and honestly, Marvel's highest rated TV show. It's looking like our guy Scotty here, who said Wonder Man was the most boring character Marvel's had, but we're here to talk about it because I think they actually did a good job here. This is Minor League Films. Hit that like button, hit that sub button. Without further ado, let's jump into it.
I'm the crazy one for treating my grown-ass brother like an adult.
So, Scotty, we got Wonder Man coming out. Was pretty so about this series when the trailer dropped. I was like, okay, that looks interesting. Like the main actor, they got some good actors in here. I think the acting is awesome. Didn't quite expect what we got here. We got basically a story about just becoming an actor in Hollywood and the struggles of that, sprinkled with some superhero stuff. I always forget. I don't want to butcher his don't want to butcher his name, but what's the main actor's name in here?
Yahya Mateen.
Yahya Mateen.
Second.
Yeah, Yahya Mateen. So he comes in here, who I've liked him, and obviously you've seen him in a ton of stuff at this point. But he's basically playing a struggling actor, and I think so. This is kind of the thing here. This is not really a superhero show. It's Marvel taking a superhero, putting him in a real story, and sprinkling some of that in, which I'm not mad at. I almost think it might be the right move, but I think they're just missing, and we'll jump into it, but I think it's just missing a little bit of that extra to kind of get you going and get you excited for the right thing. But so Yahya Mateen stars as Simon Williams. He's a struggling actor. Obviously, like his biggest problem is he can't get out his own way. I think it's cool in that first scene where he's playing in American Horror Story, he's playing just an extra who has like a 1 minute scene in the show, and he's breaking it down to the point where he's like, well, what about this backstory, about this relationship that they have? Almost too much to the point where the casting agent's like, you know what, we're cutting the role.
Yeah. Those scenes I think are really good. Like that first episode, like establishing him as a struggling actor, which was that's part of his origin story in the books. Is he was a struggling actor. I thought the scenes were funny when he couldn't get out of his own way. I think he's a phenomenal actor. I think Ben Kingsley, of course, is a great actor. He had close to like 60 movies already. Yeah. Both of these two together was a nice little buddy drama comedy movie. You know, just not a show, just not a superhero show.
Yeah, and it's so funny. Marvel's still trying to make up for what Iron Man 3 is. It's Iron Man. Marvel's still trying to make up for that. Like they didn't butcher the Mandarin so much. They're still paying homage to that character, trying to still fix it, which is pretty funny. But yeah, I think Ben Kingsley is really good in here. They kind of have I guess I always use the word buddy cop because it's so common, but just like a duo actors trying to get back into Hollywood kind of series. So I think where this series excels is the fact that you do get that kind of struggling Hollywood story. I think this show kind of, I don't say romanticizes, but just shows you what people go through every day who try to get into Hollywood, try to go after these roles, the disappointments, the letdowns, the relationship. He has a relationship with his girlfriend who they break up, and she's also an actor trying to get into Hollywood in this. So I think from that vantage point, I think the show does really well. And also, I think Yahya Mateen kind of can be himself, and I think that's the best part is he can be himself trying to crack that initial get into Hollywood surge, and I think that's why it's so good.
Yeah, and that's where him being himself I thought was very cool. Ben Kingsley honestly is, even though he's in that Trevor Slattery role, he can kind of do the same thing, so those two play off each other very nicely. That is where the pros of this whole show end for me.
Well, they don't quite, but I think that's the highlight of the show, and I love the fact of we know the superhero stuff is kind of in the background, and just like how stressed out, and they have it later with the Doorman episode, but just kind of stressed out that he is to hide his powers, not let anybody know. But you kind of see, I just love his mannerisms in the way he acts in this show, and it's just like he's always stressed because he's chasing this dream that really he should not be able to do because at this point it's illegal in this world, but this dream that he's been chasing for so long that his family is like, hey man, get a job, like go do something else. And I think that's the fun part of this. But as you say, the superhero stuff is pushed so far in the background that I want to get your thoughts on it, because I have two thoughts about this. One, I've said this for a while. I think Marvel does better when they use a different emphasis first and then use the superhero stuff to accent that. For example, Captain America: Winter Soldier. It's a spy film. It's more so a spy film. It's a government thriller, and then you sprinkle that superhero stuff to accent that in there. So I think that's done better. What I think this show kind of drops a little bit is like it doesn't give you the balance of like a Daredevil, where there's a lot going on, but you're getting your kind of superhero fill. It doesn't quite hit that point where it's like, no, it's just all acting stuff and no superhero stuff at all. Wait, we'll give you a little bit here and there, but really none.
Because Daredevil, the first season probably is the slowest season, maybe even season 3, but you have a good mix, I'm glad you brought that up, of him being a lawyer, working on cases, fighting crime at night or whenever it arises, and dealing with friendships. It's a whole lot going on. There's not a whole lot going on in this show. We have him as a struggling actor. Cool. That's every episode. Even after he gets the role, he's still struggling. Cool. I got it. His brother in the books is a villain called the Grim Reaper. His brother's kind of, I wouldn't even say he's mean in the show. It's like a regular sibling relationship to me. Like, hey, I'm taking care of mom. I have this good business. You ain't doing anything. They didn't really give the brother any room to be a villain. So I thought, okay, so he's not going to be he's not going to be a villain because you can't just pop out a reason randomly for him to be a villain. I'm actually glad they didn't shoehorn it in the last 2 episodes. I finished the last 2 last night. I said, oh, maybe they'll just throw him in there. They didn't. They didn't leave the Department of Damage Control, which, is the villains, because they want to fill that unnecessarily big prison they have in California of these superpowered individuals. Even them at the end, they're kind of like, you know what? Simon ain't that bad. So I'm like, okay. So the show is all about him being an actor, which I find that cool. Yeah. When they have those flashback moments of him being a kid, I wish they would have flashed back more to show us, first of all, since they're not going completely comic book accurate, because the comic book accuracy would have been he was struggling, his brother was a criminal, and he let Simon into that criminal world, and then Simon gained his powers through that when he was an adult, along with his brother, and his brother's always been evil. So they scrapped that. They didn't tell us when he got his powers or how long he's had it, how he was dealing with it up until then, because clearly he has a hard time controlling his emotions and his powers, and his powers are triggered, especially with the emotion. It seemed like he can control them, because you see that alleyway fight, he was using his powers purposely, and he held back tremendously, because Wonder Man, like, he can become straight up ionic energy, super strength, damn near immortal. When you take a Marvel's most boring Avengers roster member and you put him in the show, I expected you to, okay, let's throw out all the boring stuff and we're going to make him more likable. I like the character.
Yeah.
But I like him just as much as I like him in the books, which is like out of 10, I like him like as a 3. In the comic books, I know him as he's Beast's friend now. When I was a kid, he was the guy that they put his consciousness in Vision. He had a back and forth with Wanda because Wonder Man was dating Wanda. You can't even have that story in the MCU anymore. So you got to kind of like, if you want to, find a way for him to have a romance with Wanda. So it's a lot of stuff they can't do. So I thought they were going to make this more, I can't speak for everybody, but more interesting to me, because I just thought it was a good drama. I didn't, as a superhero show, it didn't do nothing for me. I mean, nothing. It didn't do a thing for me.
I'll say, yeah, this is definitely, maybe rightfully or wrongly, because Marvel has not had a good track record with their TV shows, as we all know. Maybe rightfully or wrongly, they wanted to divert from that, and they say, hey, we'll spring a little superhero, but let's just put a good show out. Like, we need a good show. Let's put a good show out. And obviously, you look at the ratings here, it's a 91% critic score, 89% audience score. I mean, they got a hit here, basically, moving forward. You don't know what they're going to do, but I'm kind of with you. I think some of the weaker stuff in the show is not even them just like not putting superhero stuff in, but having damage control in, who we've seen them now in Miss Marvel. We've seen, I guess, no, they weren't in Daredevil, but we've seen them before. I think Miss Marvel may be the only other show that they've been in, unless I'm missing something. They are just, and maybe it's the actor they have, because I know they're going to be in Spider-Man Brand New World. They have a new lead actor. I forget the guy's name, but you know him if you see him. But yeah, they kind of are re-upping it there. But in these TV shows, they make damage control so boring that it's like I don't understand why this thing exists at all. Like, why
They
are you
have no
tracing?
purpose almost because, like I said, the whole series is they're trying to get Trevor to spy on Wonder Man, and then they finally get all the information they need, and then even the damage control, director is like, "Huh, maybe we can actually use Simon Williams to our advantage. He ain't that bad." I said, "Well, y'all ain't really all that put together of an organization because you have no real goal except to fill this prison up." And listen, I don't know. I don't even know where this is going. I thought there might have been a post-credit scene after the show, so I would see something that he has. The only obstacle he has to face in this show, which it doesn't make it terrible for a regular drama, but the only obstacle in the show is really just him, his mind.
Yeah.
So
But
I just wish they would have. You had to show me a villain. You could have hinted at somebody being an obstacle somewhere, or hinted at how he's going to fit in with any team. Because the way this show went all the way through, I don't see where he fits on any team. I really don't. Because I mean, I wish they actually would have put in one other person, maybe in the last episode, that may have seen him use his powers or something, and then said, "Hey, you know what? We could use a good man, someone that can do this, something." But when you just have him fly off in the last episode, well, it just leaves me, okay, well, how's he gonna fit in anywhere?
Yeah, the only person that really black belts him is some street kid who just has a silly trying to get his bike back from his whole. I actually kind of like that because you felt like they're gonna go to the house with some drug dealers and some guys making candy, like spicy candy, which I really like that. It was goofy, but yeah, with the damage control thing, I just don't understand what kind of purpose they serve just in the grand scheme of Marvel. So, and they keep coming to the show. I think the actor, they just have him play too serious. I don't want to blame that guy, but I think they just have him play a little too seriously, maybe not enough jokes, especially in these more Miss Marvel in the show are pretty lighthearted. So not enough jokes and not just kind of amping them up enough to, and like two, yeah, you got this damage control, which feels like a street level villain type thing. You talked about how powerful Wonder Man is, and we've seen it. This is not something you send some damage control after. This is like, hey, Captain America, like A-list roster, like we need to show up and talk to this guy and be able to do something. Something goes wrong. Like this is not something that you just send like your C squad after.
We have Avengers Doomsday coming up and Avengers Secret Wars coming up, and apparently, if you're not in Avengers Doomsday, then you're definitely going to be in Secret Wars. That's coming up in like what, 9-10 months, something like that. I'm like, okay, so he's going to have to be in there somewhere, or Battle World's going to be after that too, I believe. Like I said, I don't see where he fits in. One thing that's a rumor is in Doomsday is going to be a whole bunch of villains going to have to fight with the heroes against Doom. We don't have a whole bunch of villains. So this would have been a good opportunity. Like when you saw She-Hulk was not a great show. They had they introduced about 3 or 4 villains and the Wrecking Crew, as dumb as they looked, but they introduced some villains that they could possibly use. In this show, you don't really introduce any villains you could rinse. So if you weren't going to give us any, him being a heroic superhero until the end, it would have been nice if you just sprinkle in, hey, this is a future villain. Hey, it's like Spider-Man Homecoming. When they had Scorpion didn't do anything, but we know his name, Matt Gargan. He's in jail. He's going to be in this 4th movie. You could have sprinkled somebody in there, and I feel like they've dropped the ball on sprinkling it in. I give it a 10 out of 10 for a drama. As a superhero show mixed in with drama, which I think they didn't do proper mixing with it, I give it a 6 out of 10. So I give that. This is a minor league for me.
Yeah, I mean, I will say definitely they didn't mix it in right. And one thing I had a question on: this is a Marvel spotlight, and if I'm not correct, I didn't look this up before. The other Marvel spotlight I seen was the very vintage The Thing, wasn't it? Where they go back, where they have the thing. They do that kind of like Monster Hunt. It's in black and white. That very vintage. I'm forgetting the name of it.
I know what you're talking about. was a werewolf by night, something like that.
Yeah, Werewolf at Night, or so, it's something like that, or something like that. So if I'm not correct, that's the only other one I've seen, which was pretty much a one-off here. So I'm wondering with this character, like, are they introducing him to be in this Marvel level type stuff, or was this just a one-off to be like, this is a cool story we can tell of him upcoming as an actor? We'll see and this is a big thing, we'll see the reception. People like the character. We'll find a way to bring him back, maybe add some villains in there and do more with him. If they don't like it, it's just a spotlight. You got it. You didn't like it, we can scrap it. Don't have to bring it back. I mean, Yahya Mateen is a big actor to pull in for just a one-off, because I can't tell you who was in Werewolf by Moon Night, whatever that thing was. You know what I'm talking about. I can't even remember the name, but I don't know anybody that was in that. I can tell you, but I was having a big actor. I think maybe that's why we didn't get as much. I think they said, let's tell a good story here. Let's make it fun. I thought the jokes were good. I thought him struggling as an actor was cool. And like, especially for people like, I'm somebody who's always romanticized Hollywood and just the glamour and trying to crack the industry, trying to be an actor. I think we both have the bucket list to do a casting call at some point just to see how it would be. So seeing just that part kind of reminded me. Huh?
I didn't know you wanted to act.
No, I really don't. But I would love the experience of going and seeing how things work and trying it out. Like if they gave me a role, heck yeah, I'm the next actor. But it's never like, it's not a crazy passion. But yeah, I would say on that side, I do get and this is now nothing compared to that, but like the La La Land feel of the struggling and coming up. I think the feel good stuff and seeing how that works at a lower level really works there. But I think they were holding some stuff back in case it didn't work out, because I think Marvel now feels the risk of like another bad Marvel show, and now I got to go further with it. Nobody wants to see it. Not looking good, like we've seen with Ironheart, where it's like no one's crying out for any more Ironheart stuff, but they've introduced this character, they put her in Black Panther. They can't just not have her show up in anything else, because you like then you're gonna get all kind of accusations of Disney doesn't like Black characters, Disney doesn't know what to do Black superheroes. So now you have to continue to use her. I think this was like a way to mitigate the risk. Let's not add too much stuff in, because if they add his brother in, you're like, well, where's the Grim Reaper? Now we got all this stuff going on. We got this big villain. Where is he at? So I think this was a way for them to say, let's take the risk out of it. Let's try to put a good show together, which we think they did, and then we will see where it goes from there.
I think that it like I say, it could work. The thing with Ironheart is when they introduced her as a small role in Wakanda Forever, that was like that's a perfect way to introduce a new character and then get a feel from the audience how you like it. Even though her show wasn't great, you introduced the Hood. The Hood, I didn't really like the interpretation of the Hood. You introduced Mephisto, a huge villain. He's going to be in many movies to come, probably many shows to come. They did that right, introducing characters. Show just wasn't good. People still like her as a character. I think at least half of the audience likes her as a character. But then you just kind of throw in Wonder Man and have nobody in the Marvel universe in that show at all to connect him to. I feel like if you're going to have a show and you just want to have a standalone character by himself, you can do that with certain characters. You can do that with Wolverine. You can do that with a Cyclops. You can do that with any X-Men character we've already seen. You can do that with probably any Avengers character we've already seen. Dropping Wonder Man in there by himself with no other Marvel person at all, whether it's hero, villain, or side character, I feel like that's because they could have put in Trish Hellcat from Jessica Jones. They wanted to.
Yeah, wouldn't mind seeing her again.
You know what I'm saying? Just something to connect him in there, because I feel like that would have pushed the show further if you had any kind of person that could possibly be in his universe, in his realm, in there, just for like a little bit of an episode. And I would have been a little bit more. I'd be like, okay, he's going to fit in somewhere, but we're just left here. I'm like, where is he really going to fit in? Because he's going to have to somehow have a calling to do some heroic stuff, and he's going to be a fish out of water because he's never worked on a team. No one knows who he is. No one can introduce him to anybody. Not saying that's a bad thing, but I mean, I just feel like they should have sprinkled in somebody more.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I think it would have been better with at least some level of hook here. But I mean, as far as general show, like I think they do a good job with it. We still don't know. There's still a lot of questions in the air. Like you said, there's no villain. There's no other superhero to even give us like it's just Wonder Man, breaking the Mandarin again out of prison, Trevor. So we have that. But yeah, I think they took a limited risk here. I mean, even something that we talked about before, and I always remember because we talked about it before. I remember forgetting to mention on the show the Doorman episode where I was like, "No, this is good filmmaking. This is just good TV making because this feels like it should be in Atlanta." Like this literally feels like they got a crew from Atlanta and said, "Hey, we gotta do something superhero-ish, but like not our typical," and put that in there, which we both thought was a fantastic episode to give him reason why he couldn't do acting. So I mean, I think there's so much stuff right here that it's like, okay, now we've seen you do the superhero stuff right. Yeah, it's been a little bit, but see you do superhero stuff right. Now we've seen you introduce like more so drama stuff right. Now can you blend it together in these shows? Because now you show you can do both, but just not at the same time. And I think it's a good step for Marvel to say, like, hey, like, we're good. We got these stories. I mean, I think Daredevil is kind of the peak of both of those kind of in together in a series. I think something about the series is, like you said, without the superhero stuff, even though it's a quick watch, we got to do the series pretty fast. It's only 30-minute episodes. This should be like a 4-episode thing. Like, if you're not going to put in anything and not really give us that much of a hook, don't even make it 8. Make it 4. Like, make it really short because they did it 4 a little bit, maybe just with the same hook they had. I'm like, man, when's the next Wonder Man stuff coming out?
Exactly.
Like, when's like, I like this dude. Like, we had fun. These were like, put your best stuff in 4 episodes. Maybe if you want to throw the Doorman thing in there, throw it in the middle, make it 5. And say, like, hey, we got 5 episodes. It's very short. We got it out. Okay, like, dang, we want more. That was good. Now we're like, well, we spent this a whole series with this dude, seeing a little superhero stuff, but am I really looking forward to like, yeah, I want to hang out with him more, but I understand like I'm not gonna have a 3-season Marvel show with no superhero stuff. Just not gonna happen.
I have not liked a Wonder Man project since a little bit after his debut. And once they got past the love triangle of him, Vision, and Wanda in comic books, which was decades ago, even now when they introduced him in books, that's why me and Detective made the video a couple weeks ago on here. There's even Detective is like 10, 15 years older than me. He's like 10 years older than me. He was there when Wonder Man came out, and he even says that guy has never been made to be exciting after like the 90s. And he has a new solo book coming out, which I'll review on here. I will read it. I give every single book and every book and every series, I give at least 3 episodes to see if I'm going to like it. I try to give it a chance. I hope they can do something with this series to make him more interesting, because I'm telling you, this I knew that they were going to find a way to make him not interesting, at least to me. So
yeah, as a superhero, he's not interesting.
Yeah, but that's hard. Yeah, as a superhero, that's hard to do with me because I like a little bit of everybody. That I can find something to like in everybody. Wonder Man is one of the few characters in Marvel that I'm like, whatever. Him, Hydro Man, and them two right now pop into my head. I'm like, you can get rid of them if you want to.
Yeah, I mean, I will say if this is the last we see of Wonder Man, I'd be content because you didn't give me enough looking forward. I was like, oh, that was a good little series. Like, okay, he's interesting. I don't know what he does. I don't know his power level. I don't know, what's he gonna do in the major world. But
I don't even need to know his power level. I just would have liked to know when he got his powers, and then how he got his powers, and then boom, 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 boom. Maybe that's something we'll get in season 2 or whatever other project he's in. I'm not impatient. I just feel like it should have been in season 1.
Yeah, I mean the Marvel spotlight has me feeling like there's no season 2. Like they didn't plan for that, or like if they're gonna do it, they're gonna pull something out of nowhere. It makes you feel that way because what Werewolf by Moonlight, you ain't never seen that again. You ain't heard nothing of that. Even Marvel Zombies, which was very popular, I don't think they planned for it until they wanted to see the reception of it, which I've heard they're gonna make more because they just left it on the cliffhanger, which would be crazy to just leave it there. But I don't know. I mean, even you think back to that moment, and a couple more family stuff. I think they do a good job with his dad. I like those moments, especially when they go to see the movie. Kind of hinted at the whole series, but they had that moment where like it felt like he was getting bullied at school, and they're talking about, oh, he got something yesterday, and it was like, well, that would have been a good moment to introduce like, oh, I have powers, or like Now I'm like, I hurt somebody, or something, or like something to trigger, like that could have been a trigger of he had power, like getting bullied, and then like I actually have a super abilities. Like they just had that and just was like, nah, we'll go to the movies.
You could have had anything happen that would have at least given me a little bit more of a draw to be like, ooh, I can't wait for next episode. Maybe they'll show more of this. I didn't have that feeling. Like usually when I watch Jessica Jones, Daredevil, Punisher, Falcon Winter Soldier, even the CW shows, Flash, Smallville, those kind of, and Arrow, the episodes give me something to look forward to the next episode. I didn't feel that on any episode. When I got to episode 7 and I finished it, I said, what could they possibly bring out in this last episode that's going to make me say, wow, I'm so glad I stuck around? And they gave me nothing.
Yeah, it's a good movie. He made a good movie. He accomplished his dream.
The suit looks good. I do think his suit looks good. I like the sunglasses that he chose to wear. The modern day Wonder Man suit looks perfectly fine to me. Other than that, like I said, this is a minor league on my list. I don't think you really need to watch it unless they bring him out in a future project, which I would like to think they would, and then maybe they will get more backstory and they'll make it more interesting. Then sure, watch this show. As of right now, hey man, there's other stuff you can be watching. Pick up a video game, get on some Dead by Daylight.
Yeah, there's plenty of stuff you be watching. I will say, if I had to rate this series, I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot more than you. Not for the superhero stuff, just for Yahya Mateen. I was almost saying Yahya Mateen. I think he's phenomenal. I think Ben Kingsley is really, really good. Having those two together are just fun. Watching them trying to establish their careers in there. And obviously, you get some family drama, which is okay. You get some stuff going on in the background, which I think is decent. But just their story in the way, I feel like they're best friends, like outside of the show. Like, I feel like these guys are hanging out in real life because their chemistry is just that good. So for I would say it's a price admission show. I think definitely if you sit down, it's a quick watch. It's only 30-minute episodes. You get through it pretty quickly. I think everybody's probably that's been watching is probably done by now or pretty close because you can get through it so fast. So I think it's definitely worth the watch. On the Marvel end, I don't know where it's going. I don't know what they're going to do with Wonder Man. He looks crazy powerful, which all the old Avengers are out. you might need to recruit this guy, which is something they left there was like, you don't have a hero. Like, that's a good place to start. At least you got like a big hammer somewhere to help you out. So interesting to see what they do with that. But I think it's a price admission show. Marvel stuff, very lacking. There's barely any in there. It's not really a Marvel show. I think they wanted to take the risk out when they put this together. But the show they didn't put together, it's fun. It's got good episodes. Again, that Doorman episode is one of the best solo episodes I've seen Marvel do. So, I think it's all in there. I think it's a price admission, but I agree with you. It's not a superhero show, man. It was just like, if you took the superhero stuff out of it, it wouldn't change the show one bit. Like, not at all. If you took that into Damage Control out, you could have had a 6-episode miniseries on Netflix. Somebody trying to get into like the business of acting in Marvel Hollywood or something like that. I don't know. Could have been anything like that. So
that's my problem. You could have put a civilian in that role and just said, hey, matter of fact, you could have put Zendaya in that role and been like, hey, I'm Mary Jane Watson. I'm here to try to act. So she doesn't remember Peter anymore. You could replace his character. You could put me in there. Here I am.
Anybody works kind of doing this in any form away from Marvel. So, but I had fun with it. I hope you had fun. Let us know what you thought of it down in the comments, and make sure you like the video, hit that sub button, all that good stuff. Scotty, they don't want to see us there. I mean, if they don't see us here, where can they find us at?
You can find us on Corona Comics on TikTok, also Minor League Films on TikTok, and of course, Minor League Films on everything else, X, Instagram, email, Gmail, matter of fact.
Yes, and then MLF Shorts. Make sure you check out that page. All the stuff down in the bio. But let us know, man. Let us know what you thought about the series. Give us a rating. All that good stuff. Price mission for me. Minor League for you. And that's all we got. So Wonder Man, enjoyed it. Team, Y'all got my team. Ben Kingsley, y'all did a great job. All that good stuff. We'll catch you next time.